It was a little different than what I expected because David makes you so comfortable. This is the moment when a knife comes through my back, out the chest.
No, it's a machete.
It's a machete.
Hello, and welcome to Grave Conversations. It's the only show where your favorite celebrities get to lie down. I'm your host, David Dastmalchian. Today's guest is someone I hope lives for a very, very, very long time. He is an award-winning actor, a writer, a director, a producer, a creator and storyteller who has helped shape some of the most heartfelt, original, boundary-pushing, and quietly profound stories in film and television. Oh my goodness, from the puffy chair to the morning show to Creep, please welcome the endlessly talented Mark Duplass. Hi, Mark.
I'm gonna start crying already. You made me feel so good. It was a really kind of a kismet thing meeting you because I've been tiptoeing into this horror genre as a storyteller, but I don't really consider myself a horror filmmaker. And you were this weird touchstone for me, like big eyeballs and outpouring spirit that was kind of summoning me into it.
Are you comfy in there? Do you feel okay?
I feel really good, yes.
Good. Well, we're thrilled to have you. Ready to get down to it?
Let's go.
Okay. The first segment of the show is called Questions You Need to Answer Before You Die, or as my great-grandpappy called it, Quintabid. If you had to communicate solely through air horns, how long would it take? I don't write these, Mark, by the way, but I really do like this question. If you had to communicate solely through air horns, how long before you make peace with that?
I think pretty quickly, because there are a few people in my life, my kids, my wife, my brother, my parents, who understand me implicitly, and I really don't need words. So it actually just shrinks my world down. And my dogs will understand what I'm doing too.
How many empty cardboard boxes in a home is too many before it becomes a situation?
None at all. I run a nonprofit called the Soul Points Fund, and we transform cardboard boxes into gift card donation boxes, and we set them up in like banks and schools and stuff. So anytime a box comes in, it gets transmogrified into one of our donation centers. Is transmogrified a word?
I love it. It's a word now. I love it.
Okay.
I transmogrify all the cardboard boxes that come into my home into forts and like castles for the kids still. Like
Of course
we're
you
in
do.
that game. I love it.
You're going to be doing that long after the kids
Long
are
after the
gone.
kids are gone, yeah. I'm building haunted houses for myself that
I'm going to come over and make a documentary with you that's going to be like your version of Grey Gardens.
Yes.
Where you're making forts for invisible children.
How do you feel about chiropractors?
Love them. A lot of car accidents in my life. You know, the whole theory of like, don't let them crack your neck. I let them crack my neck.
Yeah.
I need some neck crack and I need some adjustments and love. I used to go to cheap chiropractors. I don't do that anymore.
Okay.
I try to find one that's relatively vetted.
Have you ever had like an emotional experience with the release, like with a...
I haven't had that. The only thing I have had is somewhat related. In a massage once, somebody went into my stomach, deep pushing my, and I was like, they're gonna like break my spleen, or not that I know where my spleen is, but it was copious amounts of tears and catharsis. And I don't know who this person is. Her name was Daria, and she lived in New York, and she was the replacement masseuse that day. And I've never been able to find her or get that release again.
Daria, if you're watching this, please comment in below, because I want to find you as well.
Come whoop on my stomach like you did in 2003. I
mean, our bodies are their own storytellers, right? And sometimes we keep stories like deeply like lodged up in there for whatever reason. And I think it makes complete sense that like the right muscle opening in some part of your stomach where you've been emotionally storing stuff could just open up. I think as an actor, I want to have more control because I want to be able to do what you need me to do as many times as you need me to do it. But I do technically love to find those parts of my body which when I breathe into them might like play a certain chord.
That's a really good idea. Yeah, I feel like my body is like one of those old books in like a YA horror movie. When you open it, it unleashes all these demons. And I gotta just be a little bit more aware of what's in there. But, I'm only 48. I got some years.
What is the maximum number of times a person should be allowed to reheat the same cup of coffee?
Limitless.
Limitless.
Life is hard. You want something hot and brown, you got to transmogrify it in the microwave to do it, you fucking do it.
Life is hard.
Life is hard.
I'm lucky that we get to do this show, and I'm lucky we get to talk, because one of the things that is hard about life, I think, is for me sometimes the finality of certain things,
Yeah.
and the knowledge that, like, I'm gonna go, people I love are gonna go.
Yeah.
Here's something that I have a strong opinion about.
Okay.
Do you believe in appetizer samplers, or do you like to commit to just one appetizer?
For me, I like to order as few things as possible because I am what's known as the garbage can in my family. And I can't let anything go to waste because my mother has Depression era mentality. And so for me, you can order an appetizer. Sometimes I go to dinner and I just don't order anything because I know I'm gonna eat whatever everybody else doesn't eat.
I can't let anything go to waste because I have depression.
Yeah.
And it just feels good to stuff my face with mozzarella sticks, and then I feel worse about myself.
When are we gonna learn that emotional eating doesn't work?
It doesn't work. It
I mean,
doesn't work. I mean,
without spoiling too much, you and I got to spend a weekend together, and we are very therapized. We have done a lot, and we emotionally ate,
we did.
and we farted.
Yeah, we
and
did.
We felt like shit.
You know what? This is what an incredible person you are. You're such a good person that you're gonna get here in front of the world on the internet and say that we farted, because Mark, I farted. You were sitting in the car, we're prepping for a scene. I didn't think anyone could hear me. I'm standing 10 feet away from the car. I let fly. I look around and I realize everybody heard it. And you're so sweet. And then at one point I was sitting in the bathtub and you guys were in the kitchen. And apparently it was so loud you could hear the bubbles from the bathtub.
I heard it was the thing. I'm bummed we weren't rolling in that moment because I could have sold those bathtub fart bubbles as a Foley and made millions, just millions. It was so good. I farted so much, David. We both did it, and we did it with each other and on each other. And it was like we've been doing it since we were 12 years old, eating nachos and watching Beavis and Butthead. And that's why I'm just so grateful to be
What
your
a
friend.
bond. What a bond. If there's a God, and when you died, they answered your first 100 questions.
Yes.
What would be sort of a lower priority question you would like it? Like, let's say you get to number 100, so now you've kind of burned through all the really big ones.
Yes,
Now you're
yes.
at the, what do you think? What's a little lower priority?
How do toilets work? I mean,
I don't get it, dude. I've unclogged, I've tried, I've snaked. It doesn't make sense to me.
there's so many
I don't
twists
get it.
and turns, and
Yeah.
I know there's something to do with suction and hydraulics, but this little lever happens, and then the thing that I can't quite understand is like, I guess I can get my head around like, okay, you put it in there, you press the button, there's some sort of pressurized system. I don't understand any of this stuff, by the way. I have a business brain and a creative brain, but the whole like how the world works, like how
Engineering?
how does
I don't get
sound
it.
get into a series of zeros and ones on a
Mark,
binary?
how does an image show up on a TV?
How does this
it in my
happen?
laptop? How are
Don't
we
understand that.
streaming a show?
But sometimes, after a particularly late night shoot with donuts and Thai food, there's like a big like monster shit, right? And it goes in there, and I'm like, I can't wait to get a look at this thing because who knows what that's. And I turn around, and it's not there.
It's gone.
It's Houdini. It just has, and like, what the fuck happened? Did it create its own suction and go down?
Yeah.
Is it hiding, or was it all a dream? So yeah, that's about question 98 or 99. Dear Lord,
Great question. Okay, if you were to reinvent the human body, what would you add or take away?
my first instinct is my balls. I don't want my balls. I'm glad I had them to make my children, but they're these bells on my body. And I like to run fast. I like to swim naked and jump in the pool. You do that, you do a cannonball. There's like a little chicken heart sticking out between the legs. It hits the water first. It's all terrible. They're just extra.
Chicken heart. I love it.
I don't want them. I didn't have any fears about going into it, and it wasn't something that made me afraid once I was in it. Yeah, I think I'm ready to die.
Thank you for going deep with me. Usually that opening series of questions are a little more silly, but we got there.
Well, I'll go silly on the deep stuff.
Okay, that's
we'll
great. We're going to shift gears
it.
now. We're going to get silly, something a little less taxing. We're going to talk about the lighter subject, which is the topic of death and dying. Wonderful. We're here to death. We're here to normalize conversations about death and dying. It's one of the great joys for me of getting to do this show. Are you ready to talk about end of life?
Yes.
It's time for the segment that we call Death Wish. Mark, if you got to pick, how would you like to die?
The first answer is that I've had this ongoing nightmare for most of my life that I wake up in the middle of the ocean at night, no land in sight, I'm treading water, I'm tired, and I'm feeling things skimming my legs underneath that I feel are probably going to eat me. This is what happens when you watch Jaws too young. I'm terrified of the ocean and the ocean at night. I can't swim in my pool at night. This is what it is. And my first answer is that I want to go out into the water and I want to see the shark coming from a long way away. And I want to watch it come, and I want to feel the fear, and then I want to have about 30 seconds where I can let my life flash before my eyes. All the wonderful things I've done, time I sat with David in a coffin and talked about life, all the memories with my children, eating Zankou chicken with my parents on a Sunday night where we watch old videos with my kids, and realize this is okay. I'm about to get eaten, and this is my greatest lifelong fear. And you know what? This might be kind of cool, actually. And then get torn apart by a shark.
Fuck. That is not the answer I was expecting. Do you think about death and dying a lot?
I do. It doesn't scare me. And it may be because I've dealt with a lot of fear and a lot of depression through my life. And I've had thoughts about what it would be if I weren't here. You know, there's always that moment in a movie when you're 10 minutes away from the climax where a character's about to die and they'll say something like, gosh, you know, I wish we had just had more of those moments, like that one perfect Sunday where all of us were getting along at the English countryside. And they only have like one of those good family memories. I have thousands. I have spent thousands of beautiful moments with my family, my children, my wife, my parents, and so I'm selfish and I want more of them.
That's so good.
That said, when that shark comes for me, I might freak the fuck out.
Sure. You're the first person that's apex predator. Everyone else, it's like, in my sleep.
No, torn apart by wild animals.
Sharks.
But I think I just realized something. Whenever I hit a roadblock, I put so much pressure on myself to overcome it, not only for myself, but for my community. And I've done a great disservice to myself in some ways by having a lot of fortitude and being quite good at those things, and it exhausts me. And that's part of my depression, I think, is a level of exhaustion. And to be in the sights of a great white shark in the dark in the ocean means there's no more ways to pivot, and it's surrender. That's why I like dying that way. Oh, you're just gonna give this one up. You're not getting out of this.
Yeah.
That feels nice.
Have you ever done any funeral planning? Have you ever thought about like what you want the Mark Duplass funeral to look like?
Yeah, you know, I love hearing about the new fads, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. I'll do that, you know. The latest one, you know, just sort of like being buried in the ground underneath a tree, and that you get assumed, and that to me, recycling and efficiency-wise, sounds wonderful until I hear something else that I like better, and I'll decide to do that. One thing I've talked about is having a little bit of a freak fund, which will be, ideally I have some money left over in the bank, and there'll be some for the kids and Katie and whatnot. But I also want some things for the people that I love, who didn't allow themselves some of the really freaky things they wanted to do in their lifetime, or didn't have the funds to do it. And I would love for them to take me with them, whether that's in the form of ashes because I went that way, or just symbolically take me with them.
That's awesome.
And I can get to be a little part of that would be just the best.
Cousin Terry always wanted to go fly fishing in Canada, so now take a little bit of me up there. Here's, a couple grand to go and have that adventure that you wanted.
But more importantly, like, he wanted to go fly fishing up in Canada, but like at night, he secretly wanted to have, a foursome with some beautiful men and women of that region, and was never able to admit that to anybody. But Mark loves you.
Yes.
Mark loves you no matter what, and you're going to get to do this, Uncle Terry.
Oh my God, Uncle Terry, in the midst of that beautiful nude cuddle puddle, I want you to just take my ashes and just throw them up.
And somebody's going to get like whipped with a salmon from the river. It's just going to be so beautiful.
I want to talk about what is happening with you in your life outside of this casket. This is the little segment that we call Living for This. What are you working on, personally or professionally? What makes you feel alive?
The things that keep me most alive are usually projects that no one will ever see. They're little dreams of things that I'm excited about, Like, oh, I'm gonna make this podcast one day. Oh, am I gonna make like a weird EP record and like revisit my old musician self? Those are the things that I live for, and they keep me deeply excited. In terms of practically what's going on, my nonprofit, the Soul Points Fund, I'm spending a lot of time with, because we're raising funds for LA fire victims after the news cycle has moved on. I love that stuff. That stuff's like been great. I have a new show called The Long, Long Night. It's a 6-episode TV series. It's a dark comedy about two gentlemen who really want to do right by the world, but they fear that they are taking up too many resources, and the only thing they can come up with is to check into a cheap motel room and kill themselves and remove themselves from the equation.
It's so dark.
It did not sell to a major streamer. I don't know what happened. I made it independently. And then, last night I just wrapped season 2 of the Creep Tapes, which has been such a beautiful experience for me, not only creatively, but it's taught me that process is just as important as product, and sometimes maybe more so. I think what happens with Creep, and part of what people respond to in Creep, is something that's deep inside of me, and was a little bit of a difficulty for me to access and understand and try to love about myself, which is that I do make people a little uncomfortable because I fall in love very quickly. And that was something I was able to bring into my character for the Creep franchise. And audiences are smart and they're savvy, and they sniffed that on me in a way that feels very true to them. And I lean into that more. And I liken the Creep Tapes to me being in Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I feel like every guest star of the Creep Tapes is like a ghost of Christmas past, present, or future. And we spend a weekend together in some weird Airbnb, and we teach each other things, and we become close. And it's been so beautiful. It felt much more like sitting with a friend, having a late night conversation than, oh my God, what's it gonna be like when I die? I didn't have any of that existential dread. I don't know what that says about me.
Thank you so much for being here on Grave Conversations, Mark. Before we bury this interview, I do have one final thing I would like to ask you to do, please. Okay. I would be very honored if you would give your own eulogy. We spell it out, Y-O-U-logy. You see what we did there? And then when I say die, you'll have 60 seconds to give yourself your own eulogy. Don't overthink it. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, die.
Mark Duplass is not exactly who you think he is. When he was born, he had a very bad temper. He was quite selfish. He chose to live a life that was different than that, and it was hard on him. And there are times he thought, should I just be what my natural instincts tell me to be? Or is a life what you choose to be? So he led the life what he chose. And he made beautiful friends. And the world will remember him fondly. But it was not an easy life to be Mark Duplass. He spent half of his time struggling. And then he spent half of his time just luxuriating in the warmth of what he had created. To be born with a sense of something very dark, to hold it and turn it into a piece of light. It almost killed him. And then, one day, it did.
Holy shit. That was incredible. Time's up. Our time is up with you. That was so beautiful, Mark.
Let's hang out in coffins more often.
Let's hang out in coffins. Let's hang out anywhere you want to hang out. I want to hang out. Thank you for being you. And thanks for being with us today. Okay. Bye.
Well, now that David is dead, I want you all to know something. We've been dancing around this all episode. David and I are starring together in one very strange episode of a television show called